2019 was the best year of my life. I did so many things that I wanted to do but never had done. I went to Haiti. I prayed about that for years and years and years. I bought my first car. I got a new job. I got engaged, and Patrick and I got married. And so it was just a year filled with joy and with things going well. And then 2020 happened, which happened for everyone. It was sort of a really weird way to start a marriage, but we were rolling with it. In April, we found out that my dad was diagnosed with lung cancer, stage 4 lung cancer, and so that felt like a really dire situation, a really sad situation. It was heartbreaking, but we were grateful that we had our health and that we could support my family, and we had the J-Man group to help pray with us through that moment. And in August, we decided we were almost approaching a year of marriage, and we're excited to think about starting a family, so I went to the doctor to make sure that I was healthy enough to carry a baby. And it was August of 2020, I think it was August 19th, when I went upstairs and met with the same doctor that I had met with a year before, who said, we can't confirm it until we have a biopsy, but by looking at it, we were very concerned that this is breast cancer. So we certainly didn't think we would have stage 4 breast cancer, but that's all that we got, was that it was stage 4. The scripture said that he gives power to the weak, and one thing chemo is about is weakness. So I spent a lot of time feeling weak, but also very powerful, and in that I felt like the Lord was going to heal me through this. And before, kind of in the beginning, I would spend a lot of time walking and listening to, I had a playlist called Chemo Let's Go, and so I would listen to that playlist and pray and talk to the Lord. And what I had decided in my heart was that this story was not going to be one that was a tragedy, that it would be a story of a maker and his what he created and his creation, and so whatever that meant was what I was going to go for. And I didn't know what the outcome was going to be. I had faith, but that this story would not be a tragedy. And so that kind of really changed the perspective of how I walked through this. When you start chemo, they give you paperwork that you have to sign because you're about to go through something that's kind of wild, right? And so you have to sign paperwork saying, I agree to this. And because of my stage 4 diagnosis, the paperwork had 2 boxes at the top, and one said curative care, and the other said palliative care. And what palliative means, and some medical person might correct me, but to my understanding was, we're not really treating the issue, we're treating your symptoms. We're trying to make you feel more comfortable. And my paperwork said palliative, and I said, absolutely not. This is not palliative care, this is curative care. This is not what any of the words that have been said from the prayer team confirms. This is not representative of an angel protecting me. This doesn't look like cancer cells waving the white flag. We are doing curative care, and I don't sign off on palliative care. So that day it took about an extra hour because I had to reroute all the paperwork because I would not sign it until it said curative. In December, I got a call from my aunt saying it's time to come see your dad. And we found out that his lung cancer had spread to his brain. And about a week later, my dad went to be with the Lord. And so it was just a really odd feeling to have faith for your own healing from the same disease that your dad just died of. And I think that's probably the hardest for people to believe, that you can have faith that the Lord will heal you when, he seemingly didn't show up for your dad. But I would argue that he did show up for my dad, and he did show up for me, and that there's a disconnection between outcomes and God's faithfulness. Originally, there was cancer in my left breast, my lymph nodes, and it had spread to my sternum. And the cancer in my sternum was what made me stage 4, and that was the first to go. And so our midpoint scans showed that that was gone completely, and all of the biopsy results from after the mastectomy showed that the rest was gone as well. So all the lymph nodes, everything in the breast was gone. So as I sit here today, I am cancer-free. And part of being cancer-free is a joy, and another part of it is the fear of it returning. And so you sort of live this life hoping that that little tingle you felt in your toe isn't cancer coming back. But we know from the scripture that we looked in that the Lord goes before us, but He also is behind us, and we don't have to look over our shoulders. We don't have to look back. We don't have to live in fear of recurrence, because in the same way that the Lord promises healing and that He will heal our bodies, He is also looking out for us. And who better to have your back than Jesus? That is what really helped me connect with the idea that the outcome of this has nothing to do with God's faithfulness. If the outcome is that I don't make it, that is the Lord being faithful. That is the Lord bringing me home. If the outcome is that I am cancer-free and get to have babies and live a long life with my amazing husband, then that is the Lord being faithful. And in every way before that I've ever seen Him work, it has always worked out for my good. If you're in a place of needing healing in your body, or if you're in a valley of some kind, what you could take from my story is to just remember that whatever happens, the Lord will always look out for you. He's always looking out for your good. He's already prepared the solution for whatever you're going through, and He's already closing doors that He doesn't want you to go into. So the plan is already there. It's already been put into motion, and so what your response is just worship and praise and putting that faith into action. Check the different box, send the paperwork back if you need to, proverbially, whatever that means in your situation. Have those acts of faith, but ultimately just remember that He will not allow things to not work in your favor. And it may not look like what you asked for at the time, but there's no chance on heaven or earth or anywhere else that He's not going to let it work out for you.